Hi, Krishna, and welcome to our weekly deep dive study of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, memorization, first canto, chapter 2, and we are on text 27. This is Hidayat Pran in our camera on the side here. Hidayat and myself, we talked about doing this. When was this? When did we talk about this?
We started talking about this even last year before I went to England in December, and then recently, a couple of weeks ago, we brought it up again. So it was
nice, yeah. So we, Hidayat and I were talking about this in December, and then this course started in January. And so we started this course, but he was in London, so he was really busy. So but now we have him back. We're on we're on 27, in verse 27. But the cool thing is, wherever you're at, you can, like Narada told. What did Narada tell Krishna? Kamsa. He said the eighth child. He said, but it depends on where you count from. like spokes on a wheel. Like, oh, is it this one or is it that one, or which one do you count? So if you start on, and if you're in this class and you're continuing on, it won't harm you. So yeah, did I tell you about the acronym?
Divinity?
Divine, yeah.
Divine, yeah.
So you're on what verse are you on right now?
So I've just been with Rishabh and one other boy. We've just been chanting the whole chapter, and for the last a month or so, we've just been chanting the whole chapter of chapter 2 every day, the Sanskrit, and then we're going verse by verse. So now we're on verse 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
We just finished Vadanti Tat, the Brahmeti, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan.
Nice.
I think we finished Kamasya and Indriya Priti, but yeah, after that, I think.
All right, so let me share my screen. And we can start looking at here. Hold on. So as you know, the chapter is called Divinity and Divine Service. So being inspired by S.B. Keshava Swami, we put the acronym together. The Divine, D-I-V-I-N-E. So these first 5 verses, you see that he is dignifying, he is glorifying Sutta Goswami, saying he is, he left everything. What is the Pravajantam Parirajikacharya? He just left. Parirajikacharya. Pravajantam anupetam apeta krityam. With anupetam, he had no Brahmin thread, no sanskaras, nothing, none of the sanskaras were there. So dignify, he's glorifying Shukadeva Goswami. Putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus. Putreti, oh my son, is calling out. Tanmayataya taravo binedus. And the only response is the echo that is from the trees. And so we have then he's dignifying, he's glorifying the 2 rishis, twin brothers, who appeared later as? Who are the twin brothers who appeared? They appeared later.
Naranarayan Rishi?
Naranarayan Rishi, yes, sure. Appeared as later? Krishna and Arjuna.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Welcome. Dustin, where are you calling in from?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm calling in from Kingman, Arizona.
Welcome. So we're just doing a little short overview of what we've covered. And you see this word here, divine. This actually can be made into an acronym for the chapter itself, the flow of the conversation. It's the acronym for the flow of the conversation. Lilia, welcome
Hello.
from Houston. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Are you at the Krishna house?
No,
You're on a walk today. All right.
no, I'm at my mom's.
So this first 5 verses is the D for dignify, and we see he's glorifying the questions. These questions are loka mangalam. They bring auspiciousness to the world. He glorifies the twin sages, Narayan, Rishi. This is the fourth verse is the first verse in the Mahabharata. This is the first line in the Mahabharata that's recited. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam. Then you have I stands for inquiries answered. So there are 4 questions in the previous chapter. Actually, 6 questions in the previous chapter, first chapter of the whole Bhagavatam. And 2 of those questions are answered succinctly here in these 2 verses, 6 and 7. That the highest dharma is bhakti, and bhakti characterized by it's consistent, it's unmotivated, it's insistently just Krishna, and consistent. It's just continuously just for the service of Krishna, not once I get something out of it, I'm done. And then also bhakti, it brings with it carries these wonderful byproducts of knowledge and detachment, which are generally prerequisites for other yogic paths. Before you can even go to higher levels of jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga, you need some knowledge, you need some detachment, but bhakti already brings it with them. So it's D-I, and then V is, what was the subject was artha, what is of real value? And so this whole section, okay, it's verses 8 through 15. This is all about what's valuable, and so it's the glorification of bhakti. So if anything you do spiritually, religiously, if it doesn't lead to love of the Supreme, what's the term? Hadai?
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama eva hi kevalam. Useless waste of time. Dharma. This religiosity. You've heard of the 4 goals of the Vedas. What are the 4 goals? Rishabh.
Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha.
Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharma, religiosity. Then from that, people think the next thing you want to get is some economic, some financial stability. Then you can just get some sense some gratify your senses. And then when you're fed up with that, get some moksha. So Krishna is saying, no, dharmasya hyapavargyasa. Dharma is not meant for that. Dharma is meant for liberation, actually ultimate liberation. It's not even for finance. It's definitely not for, it's meant for liberation, not meant for financial gain. It's definitely not for just some some gratifying the senses. And even sense gratification, even desire, what should your desire be? You just need a healthy life. That's it. That's all you need is a healthy life. Nothing else should be your goal. If you have a material desire, just keep it at the level of, let me just be healthy. Don't go further than that. And because why? Why is that Hadai Pran? Why should you just only desire a healthy life? Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
By being kind of like not too much over endeavoring for material opulence, you can think about it more soberly, the highest truth.
Okay, yes, so life, why? Because life is meant for understanding tattva. And then, so what is tattva is in 11th verse? It's, 3 levels of understanding. God is the all-pervasive, impersonal, the the Lord within the heart that provides intelligence, and the supreme attractive personality. And then actually any type of realization, these all come from bhakti. That's the next verse. Even the Varnash, the whole Vedic culture is meant for pleasing Krishna, verse 13. Therefore, why not just do bhakti? Verse 14. And bhakti is good. It's so good that hearing about Krishna, it just cuts away our karma. So that brings us to D, I, V, and the next letter is I, and this is for the increments. And that's a real cool part that we get from this book, Madhurya Kadambini, which gives the 9 levels, or actually 14 levels of stages in devotional service. It all starts with a little bit of, as Prabhupada translated, interest. He translated this word shraddha in different ways, but he translated interest and eagerness. So your spiritual life starts with just a little bit of eagerness or interest to participate. Willingness, a curiosity that brings you to the point where you're just like, okay, I will actually check this out. So that brings us up to this verse. The interest comes from hanging out with saintly people, and it grows by service to the saintly people. It cleanses the heart. So you go from interest, you go from shraddha to sadhusanga, then to bhajana kriya, you start to engage in worship. Then the heart starts to get cleansed. And then you become up to this, you start to get to nishtha. Nishtha, then you have no more lust and desire and hankering. They practically disappear from the heart. You become situated in sattva. Then nishtha, then comes ruchi, then you develop a great taste. Then ruchi, asakti, you develop a great attachment. You're not only just attached to kirtan and chanting, and you actually become attached to Krishna. Not just attached to the process, but you attached to the object of the process. Then it gradually becomes bhava and prema. Then you're completely enlivened. All right, so that's D-I-V-I. And then last letters are N and E. Navigate. Navigate. N is for navigate. So that's where navigate is. So this whole thing right here that we just read was like bhakti's loving the divine is the best. That's the highest form of yoga, as Krishna says in Gita, yoginam api sarvesham. Or as he says in 7th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Bahunam Janmanam Ante. It's a high, after many lifetimes of jnana yoga, then you come to this surrender unto the Supreme. So the perfection of jnana, the perfection of yoga, the perfection of karma, all ends up with bhakti. The highest type of method of reaching out to the Supreme. But who's the highest object of bhakti? Who is the Supreme? Navigate. How do you navigate that? Don't you have these beings that are like even the demigods pray to? Indra, he prays to Lord Brahma. They pray to Lord Shiva. They pray to Lord Vishnu. So how do we navigate that? So that's the end. And so that starts off. And he talks about the modes of nature, ignorance, passion, and goodness. And he says it's like and these are actually 3 forms of the Lord. The Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. These are actually guna avatars. But guna avatars means he is empowering, Lord Krishna or Vishnu is empowering Lord Brahma to manage the mode of passion. Similar empowerment is given to that of Lord Shiva. And so sattva is considered the highest. Therefore, Vishnu, the Lord of Sattva, is considered the highest. So we're on this section, this navigate section. The example is given as you got wood. Wood won't really necessarily, if you're outside and you have a stick of wood, it's not really helping you keep warm. If you get it to the point of smoke, yeah, that's a little bit better. But smoke just burns your eyes. It's agitating, mode of passion. It's better than tamas. Tamas is this static, no activity. So smoke, there's activity, but it's also agitating, passion. So passion agitates the mind to want to get greedy, want to enjoy. So sattva is better. Fire is better. Fire is still better. So rajas, tamas, rajas, and sattva. Sattva is where you can begin to realize the absolute truth. Ramapad Swami gave an example that it's like a window. If you look out the window, you can see what's happening out there, but you're not necessarily there. So if you're in sattva guna, you can see what is spirit, as the verse says. How do you say sea in Sanskrit? Hadai. Many words for sea.
Samudra.
What?
Samudra?
Samudra, I think that's ocean, isn't it?
The sea, right?
No, to sea.
Oh, to sea. Oh,
Yeah.
Chakshusha.
You're correct in the other, yeah, that it is to sea.
Chakshusha.
Chakshusha. Any other words come to mind?
Pashyanti.
And how about what's our Sunday program for our folks, where we get
Darshan.
So sattvam yad brahma darshanam. By sattva you can see spirit, but it's like a window. It's not like you're really there. You're not really on the spiritual platform yet. It's a good place to see things. That makes sense? Dustin, have you studied much of the 3 modes of material nature? Because we could cover that today.
I have. Unfortunately, I have to keep my my phone on mute right now because I'm doing a few things. But this is amazing. Thank you so much, Haribol.
Haribol, no, thank you. So, as we continue on this navigate section, what is this verse? This is. I'm trying to remember. Beji re munio tagre. Agra means beginning. In the beginning, everybody actually worshipped God in a very personal way. So, and Bhagavan Tamad Hoksha Jam Sattvam Vishudam Shemaya. And he's actually free from material conditions. And so those who follow Yenotani Iha, those who follow, Anu means to follow, they also get, he's free from material conditions, and you connect with him, worship him, engage with him with love, and then you also become free from material conditions. And then our last verse last Saturday is the saintly people. They're not bigoted. Why are you just worshiping Krishna? Why not Kali? Kali Ma, Durga, Shiva. Why? They're not bigoted. They're anusuyavaha. They're not envious. They're certainly not envious. But they approach those forms that are shanti, that are pure, that are peaceful. The mumukshavo ghoda rupa. They reject the beautiful and scary forms of the demigods, as Prabhupada writes in the purport. Because these are forms that are, he describes the categories of living entities, and he says there are 2 types of living entities. There's a separated, what was it? we use this term. It sounds like very scientific. What was the term he used? Separated. There's the integrated and the separated. What is that song? Keep them separated. Separated. Oh, hold on. The integrated plenary portions. The plenary. Who knows what this means? Hadai is ready. Tell us. Plenary.
I was just gonna look it up.
I was looking at you, got the phone in it. So plenary, what do you think it means? Google, tell me.
I have the dictionary definition, but it doesn't seem to make sense, but I can read it.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Plenary, to be attended by all participants at a conference or assembly who otherwise meet in smaller groups.
And that's the only definitions I got there?
There's two, unqualified, absolute. So that's the second definition.
If you the definition in relation to this is plenary means actually complete.
Oh.
It means, so these are plenary portions, means that when Krishna, what is this verse from Brahma Samhita? He manifests, when he multiplies, expands his form, each form is complete. Like Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachite Purnamasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate. So the Supreme Absolute Truth is perfect and complete, and so many, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains in complete balance. So 1 minus 1 is still 1. 1 plus 1 is still 1. If he makes multiple forms of himself, each form is infinitely potent. Whereas if I, tear a piece of paper in half, then it's less paper. It's not. It's less of the material. Or if I, plug in, 2 things into the charger, then there's eventually if you plug in more and more and more, you're gonna have less. Like if I have a battery charger, the one outlet's not going to give out the same voltage. So plenary means complete. Integrated means they're all Krishna himself. Separated parts and parcels, that's the souls. And so the devatas, the demigods, are the separated parts and parcels, like Indra, Brahma, etc. And Nahush. And welcome. We got another. Welcome. And so now we are on verse number 27. Any questions so far? So the last section, just to cover, last section is E is for expansion, where he talks about the different Purusha avatars, the expansions of Lord Vishnu. So we can look at the verse. See if I can make it a little bigger. Everybody can read it? Big enough? Rajastama prakritaya shamashila bhajanti vai pritri bhuta prajeshadin shri aishwarya prajepshavaha. So Krishna here, and Suta Goswami here, is approaching the situation by identifying their ipshavaha, their desires. So those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category. So prakritaya, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and the demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities. For they're urged by a desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, and progeny. I was listening to a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. He was lecturing on this verse, and he was saying that there's a Bengali saying that if you can see your grandkids, you are truly blessed. This is a Bengali saying. You know, if you can live so long that you can see your grandkids, you're truly blessed. So people are, you know, we want so many things. We want to have good family. Most of these things are more in the mode of passion. They're not necessarily dark. You know, this is the things that if you watch some self-help books and videos, they'll encourage you to work hard to get these things. Get your power, get your wealth, build your family. This is the mode of passion is not usually like the kings, their mode of passion. They're mode of passion and mode of goodness. These are like the kind of advice we hear in this world is generally get out of the mode of ignorance and get into the mode of passion. You know, don't be sitting around lazy at home. Build your empire. You can do it. The sattva side is not something we generally hear too much about. It's just, you know, get your stuff together. You know, get regulated. Why? So you can enjoy some financial stability, some wealth, some power. You know, how to make what's that book? Stephen Covey. How to make friends and influence people, or something. Is that it?
The seven things.
7 habits of a highly successful. Yeah, it's mode of passion. Build your empire.
I have a question.
Yes.
So is this only like in America, or is it like this in India and other places?
Oh my God. In India, it's even worse. In America, India, I think, would be more pure mode of passion. In America, we're like, we get some money. Why? So you can just, you know, go to the bar, go to Vegas, go to cruise, and just like, you know, get drunk. Where in India, there's a lot of mode of passion people, people who are into building up their empire so they can enjoy good family life. It's less mode of ignorance, more like a good example of a mode of passion. Actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked this question: what if you practice spiritual life and you give it up? What happens? And understand that this is coming from the Vedic paradigm, where what if you give up your kind of good karmic activities to practice spiritual life, and then later you give up spiritual life? Aren't you just totally lost? You didn't do the good karma things. You didn't do like the material yagyas for good fortune in the future, and you didn't finish your spiritual life. And so Arjuna had this, you know, perplexing question, and Krishna says, with the spiritual activity, there's no loss. As he earlier said in Bhagavad Gita, it is swapam apyasya dharmasya trayate himatobhaya. Even nehabrikam nashtosti. Even a little bit, there's absolutely no loss. So he says in this 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he's answering this question. He says, Purva abhyasena teneva. The person will again bring about their own previous practice. It will naturally be arisen. Shriyate, as within their heart, avashopi saha, as if just driven automatically. So where you practice in this life will continue on your next life. Purva vyasena teneva shriyate yavisopi saha jigyasur api yogyasya. Such a kind of seeker, sabdamrama ativartate. He stands in a better position than someone who's just ritualistically religious, someone who is actually seeking.
So
And
do you
so,
think that, I'm sorry.
just to finish the point. So and so he says that person will take birth in the family of yogis, or he says even the family of rich aristocracy. And so one may ask, well, why would you want to be born rich? Those people are terrible. Those people don't seem to be very spiritually minded. But in many of these classical, those rich aristocratic people were actually very, very deeply spiritual. And so being born in that situation, like Prabhupada gives the example that there's this family, they're sponsors of the temple in India, and they're like extraordinarily wealthy, and they all go to the temple's morning program, and they set a tax for themselves. If they ever miss a morning program, they got to put like $5 in anytime they miss it. That is like taking note of this. Except for the brahmacharis don't got the $5 to put in.
You get less prasadam.
Less prasad. You get less. You get more sweets if you go to the morning program. So, so yeah, that in that sense, these the kind of wealthy people, all because they have this wisdom that there are many lifetimes. They're often the wealthy people are like, let me do good things, let me do dharmic things, let me do religious things, and I will enjoy nicely in the future. And so there's this connection to spiritual culture and engagement with Vedic culture. Lilia, so did that answer your question, or you had a question?
No, you answered my question.
Oh, okay, good. So mode of passion, and those also the mode of ignorance. If someone is in the mode of ignorance, so this verse mirrors the verses that we cover in chapter 7. Hadai, do you know those verses? I'm picking on Hadai. He lives in the temple, so I gotta pick on it.
Chapter 7 of the first canto, or
Of Bhagavad Gita. And Rishabh's not even 18. He's, he's isn't it? You're like 16?
Yeah, I'm 16.
For summer vacation from school, he decided, let me go live in a temple. Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
2 months.
2 months, yeah. And not even a temple in my country. Let me go from London to New York.
That is so cool.
And it's not just him. It's like two or three guys from London.
I had 4 here.
4?
Well, 2 just went back, and then I have two left.
Okay, so this chapter, the acronym is HEAD. The first 3 verses about hearing. Then you have E is for energies. And then you have those who accept Krishna or reject him. 15 on to 19. And then the last verses are all about D is demigods, devatas. So kamasaster hita jnana, a person whose knowledge, jnana, has been stolen by kama. Kamasaster hita jnana, they're driven to worship devatas. Prapadyantena devata tam tamimashta prakat yo yam yam turam bhakta shara architam. And so Krishna says, I'm in everyone's heart. I help them develop their faith in the demigods. Because a person is actually interested in kind of just material things, I help them in this way. I direct them towards the demigods, because it's better than being an atheist, but I'm not forcing them to develop a relationship with me. I give them the faith, I give them the results. And this is for people who are actually just seeking things that are limited and temporary. And he said, therefore, they're not very intelligent. What is this? Alpas. What is this one? Alpa medasam. Alpa medasam. Something small. Not a small amount of brains. Antavat, yeah, perishable fruits. Those who are desiring perishable phalams, perishable fruits, they're considered to be not very smart. Apamedasam. They worship the demigods and they go to the demigods when they die. But my devotees go to me. And so and Krishna says, I'm not manifested to people who are actually not interested in me. I cover myself by my Maya. They're not interested in me. I cover myself. They don't see me. It's a tinted window, as he says in the next verse. I see them, but they do not see me. Lilia.
What's a devata?
Yeah, demigods.
Oh, okay.
The angels, the higher beings above humans who they're all devotees. They're not yet pure devotees, but there are devotees, and they all have power and influence over this world. Krishna's. All right, so I just want to look at this purport here, or this commentary by Burijan Prabhu. He says, although people can get the same results by worshiping Narayan, you can get the same results. You can get material things by worshiping God. What is the famous verse from the Bhagavatam, Hadai, about worshiping Krishna, whatever your desires are?
It goes like akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharidi tivrena bhakti yovena yajante purusham param.
Yes, correct. So akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udharidi. So whether you have kama means, who knows what kama means? Dustin, I don't know if you're able to unmute. Do you know what kama means? The kama is desire. Desire, like probably the most famous book in the West, Vedic book. What is the most famous Vedic book in the West?
Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra, yes. So kama, whatever, if you have no desire, you're actually completely liberated. You're a great exalted Vaishnava. A sarva kama, you have all desires. You want everything. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted his own planet. Dhruva Maharaj, he was a young prince. Actually, he was only 5 years old when he was insulted by his stepmother. His stepmother was the queen, and she was called Suruchi. She was very attractive, and she had the full heart and attention of the king. And this king, unfortunately, had two wives, which usually, if you read the Vedic stories, whenever there's more than one, problems are there. It's not a good idea. So he went to crawl and sit on his father's lap, and the stepmother pushed him off the lap, the king's lap, and said, if you want to sit on this throne, because the king was sitting on the throne and the child was just trying to crawl on the lap, he said, then you need to die and take birth in my womb, because that's not happening. And so this little boy with his royal blood he was fuming. His blood was boiling. He was so angry. He went hot tears streaming out from his eyes. He ran to his mother. She said, yes, we're kind of in a bad situation. She said, what can I do? He said, only God can help you. He said, where do I find God? He said, I hear the yogis find him in the forest. So the 5-year-old kid ran away, and he went to the forest to find God. And he was stopped by Narada. Narada Muni appeared there and said, hey, you're just 5 years old. This is not so important. This is stupid little drama stuff. Just go home. Don't forget about it. It's not so important. You're taking this too seriously. And the boy was like, are you going to help me? If you're not going to help me, then you go home. He said, and so Narada, who came there to give a little test of this boy's determination. He saw this boy is extremely determined. And so he taught him the process at the time by which a devotee finds God, which is the path of Ashtanga Yoga. So for the first month, he lived on leaves every 3 days. The second month, he lived on dry leaves every 6 days. The third month, he lived on a sip of water every 9 days. And in the fourth month, he lived on a breath of air every 12 days. And eventually, he stopped the whole breathing process, which is actually a universal thing that everyone is being connected to. And so when he yogically stopped his breathing, everyone started to feel like they're suffocating, even the gods in heaven, the demigods. And they went to Lord Vishnu and said, give this child, please see this child, help us, we are suffering, please see this child. And when they approached, so then Lord Vishnu, by his mercy and kindness, appeared before the Lord, before the boy on this 6th month. And the boy, he touched the boy on his head with his conch shell. The boy, by that touch, could speak very beautifully and act eloquently. And the boy, he was doing this austerity with the sole goal to get his own universe. He said, I don't want just a kingdom, I want a universe. And when he saw the Lord, he saw that actually what I was seeking was just little bits and pieces of broken glass, my desire for the universe. You are the real gem. I found you. You are the real gem. And so then the Lord spoke to him and actually said, well, I'm still going to give you your own universe. And he gave him the Dhruva Loka, the pole star. And if you look up North Star photography, you'll see all the cosmos swirl around this one stationary thing in the sky called the pole star. So here it says, a person could get all the same results by worshiping Lord Narayan, the husband of the goddess of fortune. You know, he's the husband of the god of fortune, the goddess of fortune. But they choose not to because they're impelled by lower desires, lower nature. Let's see. So they're being directed according to their natures. So everything can come. If we're a little bit intelligent, you know, then we want to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything, you know. Any reflections, comments, or questions? Rishabh, Dave, anything?
Yes, I want to ask a question and sort of comment too. Furuji, first time here, but it's refreshing
Welcome.
to hear. Yeah, Hare Krishna. It's refreshing to hear devotees speak about mode of passion in a positive way in building your life. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, because I've been in the ISKCON community for a while, and it's always talked about, oh, come to the mode of goodness to transcend, go into Suddha Sattva and become Krishna conscious. It's all good said and done. And you know, a lot of times the devotees say Krishna takes away, and you know, if you have nothing in your life, it's a blessing, and all these things. Well, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I think that we can be more conscious about building our life and still be Krishna conscious. You know, I don't think it's like, you know, person doesn't have to go through so much turmoil necessarily. I mean, it's Krishna's will, but in order to, you know, like be fully Krishna. I don't know. That's my thing is I want to say I appreciate that how you're saying about with the mode of passion to build our lives, because it's part of the swadharma, you know, to take care of yourself and prosper, and then from there, you know, still be Krishna conscious. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. And there's a book Prabhupada wrote in Bengali called Renunciation Through Wisdom. And in that book, he describes that we have to move from the mode of ignorance, then to the mode of passion, And then from the mode of passion, then we then have to move up to the mode of goodness. Not that we just, make an artificial jump. Like sometimes we're, I the Hadayat, the Kirtan, we gotta sometimes we're tamas. We're we're standing in the Kirtan and we're just stuck. And we just gotta get a little passionate. Get a little passion, move around a little bit, move our body, and then chant Hare Krishna, and we'll find we'll gradually move to the mode of goodness. Otherwise, we could just be stuck there or sit there chanting without any movement. We're just our mind's it's so easy for the mind to go all over the place. But if you're happily dancing, which is a very passionate thing, it's happily dancing, it's a little hard to be thinking about the bills and worries, so you could get sometimes we have to push ourselves from tamas. Yeah, I'm gonna get up early, I'm gonna work on this, I'm gonna work on that, and finally with that little passion, we find that with passion for success, that often creates situation where it becomes more sattvic. Okay, we got up early, we started working on things, now we have some time, now we have some, we're moving away from tamas when we invoke that passion. And if we have the goal as Krishna, then we can keep on going further to mode of goodness and Shuddha Sattva. Any other reflections?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, with Pranam.
Yes, Navani?
It's like that, as you said, there's example of Dhruv Maharaj. So it means in this world, we are literally doing chanting and all the stuff to remember, means like Krishna, but still means not coming to that platform, or still not managing, or struggling with these things only.
Can you speak a little
Working.
louder?
Yeah, it's Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, with Pranam. So sorry for that. Now, can you hear me, or is it audible?
Yeah, it's just a little softer than.
Yeah, I mean, I was just working on the thing that this how could Dhruv Maharaj, just by seeing Krishna and Vishnu at one glance, he forgot that how he came to there ask for something else, and he totally forgot all that. Means how one can reach that platform. Uh, yeah, I just in my life I totally struggle to just it's like struggle to make every time Krishna conscious, means not every time I can say, but yeah, just struggling for after 16 rounds or something like that. So means how can one person attain, or how is that means, can you describe this incident a little more elaborately?
So yeah, that's described earlier in this chapter, this progression. And at the end of the progression is here, let me see if I can find it. There's 14 stages. Here, hold on, let me see. Unveiling his lotus feet. Okay, let me share the screen. Unveiling his lotus feet. Okay, so this is Burijan Prabhu's study guide to the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 1st canto to 4th canto. Nice big fat book. And here, 14 stages. Starts off with mercy of the devotees, then service to the devotees. Then we develop this, like I said, shraddha, but it's actually just a little bit of willingness to participate. Then, and we're engaging in service, then we actually take shelter of a teacher. And then we develop eagerness to worship Krishna. Then there's some bhakti. Then there's disappearance of obstacles, then nartas, then steadiness, then ruchi, taste. From ruchi, firm attachment, rati, fondness, prema, love, rati bhava. But after prema, there's atadharshanam, actually seeing the Lord. And then after that is direct experience of Lord Hari's sweetness. So there's a chart in the book Madhura Kadambini. There's this chart that describes certain things that fade away are at different stages, like karma, good, bad karma. Those the withholding effects of good and bad karma, they generally go away at an early stage, but the effects of anarthas go away at a later stage, or the effects of what is called bhakti anuttara, means mistakes in bhakti. And so there, it's described that even at prema, there's still something there that's it disappears when you come to the point of atadarshana, when you actually see the Lord.
But I have heard that in Krishna consciousness that people are not they are not really going for to see the Lord. They are just begging for his devotional service and going back to Godhead. Means,
Oh, we want to see the Lord, yes, yes. But with the mentality of, like, what is this? Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhava to me. Oh Lord Jagannath, please kindly be visible to me. We definitely want to see Krishna. We're eager to see Krishna. But we're eager to see Krishna in the mood of service in such a way as it says, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, do not come and say, where is Krishna? We want to come with a service attitude that we want to serve Krishna so nicely that Krishna wants to see, where is us? That we want to serve so nicely that makes Krishna want to see us.
okay, I got this one. Yeah, I've heard this verse that you should do service in such a way that Krishna should see us.
Okay, thank you. So let's go back to this verse and we will practice our
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. All right, so let's practice. Everybody ready? Rajastama Prakritaya. Rajastama Prakritaya. Samashpila Bhajanti Vai. What does sama mean? Sama.
Equal.
What English word is sounds like the same like this word?
Same.
Same, yes. I put a little hint in there. So sama is, we get the English word same. Another connection we have in English is the S from the, what is it, the Greek or the Latin turns into an H. So this word homogenize, it means same. So it has the same, it's the actual root is from Sanskrit, sama. Samashpila. Shila here is meaning categories. So in the same categories, prakritaya, born of the same categories. They worship bhajanti. They worship those in Rajas and Tamas. Worship those in the same categories. Rajastama Prakritaya. Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Someone want to give us a recitation?
Rajastama Prakritaya Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Rajastama Prakritaya Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Rajastama Prakritaya Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Pitri Bhuta Prajashadin What does Adi mean? Who knows what Adi means?
Adi is everywhere.
Your
Omnipotent.
volume is very low.
It means omnipotent or everywhere.
No, Adi means beginning,
First.
first,
Okay.
yeah, and it also means starting with. Like we have this song. What is this song? Kiba Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Aroti Ko Shobha Jana Vitata Vande Jagamana Loba Daki Ne Nitai Chan Pame Gadata Ikate Advaitati Vasa Tata Dara Koti Yate Gauraya Lata Sinasane Aroti. So here you look in the song, Brahma Adi Devagane. All the demigods are there, headed by Brahma, the beginning with Brahma, first starting with Brahma. Sanjay Muskunda and Vasudev Ghosh, they're all singing, headed. There are many people singing, headed by, starting with Sanjay Mukunda, Adi Devagane. Where else? I think there's a few more Adis. I don't know. Is there another Adi here? Okay, we got the two Adis there. But so, starting with, like, we know the brand of shoes that Krishna wears is the Adi Das, you know, because Krishna wears in Dwarka, Krishna has umbrella, Krishna's shoes, Krishna's bed. They're all manifestations of Lord Balaram, and therefore Balaram is the Adi Das. He's the original servant of Krishna. So, Prajeshadi.
Adi does.
So Adi. So the Prajapatis. So these are the heads of creation, the beginning, the controllers of cosmic manifestation. So these are all powerful beings that are being mentioned here, but they're not Satchid Ananda, pure beings. They're still they're not the ultimate objects of worship. They still have rajas and tamas. So you know these other beings. You could also bhuta could even be bhuta, like the ghost. Doesn't only mean living entities. It could mean ghosts. And so someone who is in tamas, they'll be interested in honoring, worshiping ghosts. Rajastama prakritaya samashila bhajanti vai. Lilia, you want to give it a reading? Want to give it a try?
Rajastama Prakirtaya. Hold on. Shama Shila Bhajanti Vai. Pitar Bhuta Prajeshadin. Shriya Shvarya Prajepshava.
Oh my God, you're like a professional. Very good. Well done, well done. Rajastama prakritaya. This is like, it says of that mentality. It means like, if you look at the different word for words for prakritaya, you'll see it says like cause. It's some kind of interdependent relationship. Rajas prakritaya, surcharged with the mode of passion. Dependent, cause, desires or natures. So those of that quality of Rajas and Tamas. They are driven. Shamashila, to approach those of the same category. Pitri Bhuta Prajeshadin. Pitri Bhuta Prajeshadin. Prajesh, this is where we get this word, this, you know, the beings of Prajapatis. This is where we get the English word progenate. Because that's what Prajapatis do. They're demigods who create different species of life through progenation. Like you can have a yogi husband and wife, and they appear, they transform their form into two deers, and they have a child. They just created a deer. You know, they have this kamarupa, kamarupani. They can change their form according to their desire. The rupa can change according to their kama, their desire, and then they can progenate. They can populate planets with by this process of various different species. Priti Bhuta Prajesha, the Prajapatis. These are like higher beings. Daksha was one of the Prajapati Daksha. Very powerful beings. Pitri Bhuta Prajesha. Who knows what a Pitri is? These are it's a planet. It's our forefathers. It's a special place. Yeah, a special place where the forefathers go. Shriya means women. Aishwarya means wealth. And Praja, again, progeny, progenate. So desiring, women, wealth and power. That's Aishwarya's wealth and power. Shriya Aishwarya Prajep Shavaha, Ipshi means desire. Shriya Aishwarya Prajep Shavaha Piti Bhuta Prajeshadin. Shriya Aishwarya Prajep Shavaha. Shriya Aishwarya Prajep Shavaha. Shriya Aishwarya Prajep Shavaha. Carmen, you want to give it a read? Oh, I don't think she's available. Our next verses after this are going to be, there's actually 2 verses, but they're pretty easy. We'll probably still do 2 classes, but they're Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Yas Vasudeva Paragatihi. A pretty easy verse there. Only the 5th and 6th line have this word param instead of para. The rest are para. This is also para. This is a Vasudeva para dharma. Paro dharma. It's just when you put them together, the sandhi becomes paro. Paro dharma. Param. Vasudeva. So this is a nice one. Any last comments or questions? I think we're finished here. That's on a drive. Okay. Well, Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bye. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.